An integer is any whole number, both positive or negative. When working with integers, you need to know some rules to do with positive and negative numbers. So, a rule when adding, if you have positive and negative both together, it means that you have to subtract. If you have two negatives together, right next to each other, it means that you need to add. Let's look at a couple of quick examples. We've got -3 plus -2. We notice that there is, in fact, a positive and a negative together. In that instance, we need to subtract. It becomes -3, take 2. Think about your number line. If you're at -3 and you're subtracting 2, you're decreasing by 2, you're moving to a smaller number again, which would be -5. -3 take 2 equals -5. Let's consider another example. We've got 16 take -6 equals. I notice that there are two negatives together, right next to each other. Two negatives together, that means to add. Okay, I'm taking away a negative, I'm in fact adding. 16 plus 6, that is 22. Let's look at a third example. We've got -10 take away 15. -10 take 15. We don't have any two values, negative and positive, right next to each other, so there's nothing that needs changing. But we'll notice we're at -10, 10 below 0, and we're taking away 15. Okay, so we're going lower again. 15 smaller than -10 is -25. -25. We've got the number 3, and we're adding -3 to it. 3 plus -3, oh, we've got a positive and a negative together, next to each other. They need to subtract. 3 take 3 equals 0. So remembering for our rules, it's only necessary when the two signs are actually next to each other. Okay? Not in this instance where the subtract is separated by a digit, number 10. Okay? When they're next to each other, you'll think, okay, I need to cross them out, and either addition or subtraction will overtake for that question. Consider using your number line to actually answer the problem, knowing that if you're taking something away, you're going smaller. If you're adding something, you're going to get a larger answer. Our rules for multiplying and dividing integers are whereby if you have a positive and a negative number, your answer is going to be a negative answer. If you have a negative number multiplied or divided by another negative number, your answer is going to be positive. So, let's do some examples. We've got -3 multiplied by 9. Let's consider 3 times 9. 3 times 9 is 27. And now, one of them is negative and one is positive. One is negative, one is positive. My answer is going to be a negative answer. Let's do another example. Let's do 11 multiplied by -8. Let's consider what 11 times 8 is, 88. One of them is positive, one of them is negative. My answer is going to be a negative answer, -88. We've got -56 divided by -8. -56 divided by -8. Let's consider what 56 divided by 8 is, which is 7. And then think of our rules. Two negative numbers multiplied or divided is going to have a positive answer. So my answer is +7, and I don't need to bother writing the sign in. Another example, 15 divided by -3. One of my numbers is positive and one is negative. My answer is going to be a negative answer. And 15 divided by 3 is 5, so it's -5. Remembering, yes, the rules are similar in terms of a positive and negative together making a negative. Okay, but they're applied in different ways for both adding and subtracting, and then a little bit differently for multiplying and dividing. Remember, use your number line, and remember, find your answer and consider whether a negative sign needs to be added in or not.